There are a number of current issues facing our Australian primary classrooms that are extremely alarming and upsetting. The first is levels of student engagement. According to studies undertaken by Sullivan et al. And McCourt, levels of student engagement in primary schools are gradually declining, especially towards the later years of primary school. A study completed by Sullivan et al. Found that 74% of teachers involved in the study encountered disengaged student behaviour several times daily. In addition to that, McCourt found that student motivation and interest drops from 82 to 68% from Term 1 to Term 3.
Another issue is about our assessment methods. Ray and McCollin supports that schools pay more attention on students' academic results and become the exam factory. Concerns exist around the impact of the test. Many teachers reported that standard test and night plan increase students' levels of anxiety and stress, and they return to teacher-centered instructions with a resultant decrease in students' engagement and motivation. The situation of students' mental health is also worrying. The Mental Health of Children and Adolescents report shows that in 2015, 1 in 7 children and adolescents experienced a mental disorder.
Another issue is teachers' mental health. In Australia, the stress levels of teachers and school leaders are amongst the highest of any profession. 41% of teachers report high levels of occupational stress. Constant pressures, feelings of stress, frustration, disappointment, fear, anxiety, and sadness can build up and have a detrimental impact on both students and teachers.
So, how can we reduce the prevalence of these issues in Australian primary schools? Positive education! Positive education is an umbrella term used to describe empirically validated and scientifically informed interventions and programs from positive psychology that have an impact on student well-being. Through extensive research, it has been established that there is a strong link between happiness and learning. Fredrickson specifically found that students with positive mindsets are more enthusiastic, determined, attentive, inspired, and friendly. Happy people gain more from education. But where did positive education originate? Back in America during the year 2000, Sellerman and his colleague discussed the importance of social and behavioural sciences in determining well-being and positive attitudes in individuals and how communities thrive. After the devastating impacts of World War II, psychology had mostly been about healing and repairing damage once it was there. A spike in mental illness led many to discover that they could make money from treating and curing these issues. However, later research found that prevention rather than treatment was significantly more beneficial, as it not only improved well-being, but gave individuals many skills to flourish in day-to-day life. And so began the positive psychology movement, where psychologists learnt to amplify strengths rather than repairing weaknesses, and ultimately builds the qualities that help individuals and communities not just endure and survive, but flourish.
There are 3 pillars of positive psychology: positive emotions, hope, joy, trust, comfort. Teaching for happiness is about creation of positive experience, and positive emotions produce enhance in learning. Positive traits, loyalty, leadership, gratitude. Good character is not inborn, but can be cultivated. Positive education wants to teach both moral virtue and resilience in the classroom. Resilience is a positive resource that helps people to stay clear of negative emotional experience. Positive institutions, family, community, and schools. Based on Bronfenbrenner ecological system theory, we can realize that school can be a key positive institution which supports students' positive traits, creative students' positive emotions for educational purpose.
Student-centered ideology aligns with positive psychology by both focusing on the needs and concerns of students. They both aim for the growth of students, each in harmony with the student's unique intellectual, social, emotional, and physical attributes. Both theories believe that children should be free to pursue their own interests and advocate for the freedom of the whole child. Students are viewed as the source of content for the curriculum. They both advocate an integrated curriculum based on the education of the whole child, and both assume that children will make meaning for themselves by interacting with others. Teachers carefully observe children, create physical, social, verbal, and emotional activities that will take place both inside and outside the school to stimulate students' growth. The strengths-based approach. Studying strengths is central to positive psychology. Positive psychology emphasizes the importance of identifying and using individual strengths to empower students to flourish. Educators consider the use of each student's strengths, including learners' linguistic, cultural, and social backgrounds, for curriculum planning, and provide praise and recognition for strengths-based successes. So schools who use strengths-based approaches promote student well-being, positive behavior, and academic achievement. However, Seligman states that in positive psychology, positivity is good for you, negativity is bad for you. It means farewell to individual differences and one size fits all. Nevertheless, strengths-based approach advocates the importance of using individual differences, including both positive and negative experience, to contribute to learners' growth, which we couldn't agree more.
Positive education is now a widely recognised method of teaching used throughout many Australian schools. Positive Education Schools Association, PESA, is an Australian company that assists many schools in preparing their teachers for positive teaching. Their vision is for the science of well-being and positive psychology to be implemented throughout the education system, enabling all students, schools and communities to flourish. In order to do this, they aim to promote and engage, equip educators with resources, and facilitate collaboration. Many schools have supported this association by becoming members, therefore receiving access to a wide range of extra information, resources, and collaborative events. A standout school, a part of the PESA mission, is Ashburton Primary School. They have created a program called SMILE, which aims to develop a whole school approach to the acquisition of skills and strategies that promote student well-being, foster positive relationships between students prepped to Year 6, and create a positive, optimistic school community. As part of this program, students will participate in a whole school activity once a term. In Term 1, for example, they created an I Am tree, where they could write down a positive quality about themselves to add to the tree. In addition to this, they also have Year 6s as peer mediators and Year 5s as prep buddies.
The other example is Toorak Primary School. There's one school activity, knitting squares to contribute to a blanket that will be presented to a local organization supporting homeless people and those in need of extra warmth, to enable children to develop empathy, sympathy, and think and act positively. Secondly, the school provides activities and discussion around topics of connection, appreciating and looking after each other and friendships. Throughout the discussion, children can learn vocabulary to help them recognize and understand the strengths and positive qualities between each other.
Let us look at another example. Woodland Primary School believes that well-being should be at the heart of education. As such, this school is using a whole school approach to develop positive education. Seasons for Growth. Seasons for Growth is a small group grief and loss education program. It is based on the belief that change and loss are part of life. The Seasons for Growth program provides an opportunity for children to learn the knowledge, skills, and attitudes required to understand and respond well to grief and loss experience. Counseling. This school has partnered with Aussie Child, who employed mental health professionals to provide counseling to students in schools. Woodlands Primary School also have a full-time student well-being coordinator.
The issues mentioned at the beginning of this presentation don't seem so bad when positive education is involved. Positive education improves student engagement as it ensures the well-being of children is being met. When students are happy and able to deal with challenges faced every day, they will therefore not only have a greater intrinsic desire to learn, but they will also maintain engagement in class. It also addresses the issue of assessment methods, as positive education focuses more on students' everyday interactions and self-concept rather than standardized testing, therefore reducing levels of stress about academic success. Studies show that happy students are less likely to develop mental health issues, and positive education aims to ensure students' well-being and happiness. Lastly, positive education addresses teachers' mental health by encouraging teachers to acknowledge negative emotions and handle stress through meditation, sport, consulting with colleagues, school leaders, and mental health professionals. This helps to develop skills on how to be less reactive to situations and combat unhelpful thinking patterns. Finally, we have the reflection. Positive education has allowed us to think more critically about student well-being and resilience in the curriculum. Education is not just about academics, but education about social and emotional well-being should also be immersed in student learning. As a group, we deeply believe positive psychology to be vital in all Australian classrooms. In future, we plan to adopt this theory as our own and strive to ensure that all students' well-being is at the forefront of their learning, as it will ensure greater academic success.